Welcome everyone to another episode of Lighting the Candle, A World That Works. Each week we get together to have a conversation and a dialogue, the ultimate goal of which, if we're successful, is access to empowerment, access to energy, and a whole bunch of other E-words that we've talked about in the past. But mostly we're here to drop a pebble into the pond and ripple it through you, our viewer. And we're really glad that you stop by every week to listen to what we have to say. And if you ever want to be a participant on this broadcast, please, or podcast as well, please get in touch with us, via the comments section down below, and we'd be more than happy to sign you up. So in the meantime, I'm Bill Carell. We've been doing this for, roughly 45 to 50 episodes so far. And every week we get together and we never know what we're going to talk about. And I'm sitting here at the moment and what is coming up for me today is a discussion of maybe two different terms that we use an awful lot. There's Lisa. And we're just getting to the point of identifying ourselves. And what I'd like to toss out for today is, can we talk about two words that I hear so much, and I'm not sure that people share a common definition on it. And the first one is attitude, and the second one is mindset. So for your master's thesis, will you compare and contrast those two particular words in your experience? And Ken, would you like to kick us off and tell everybody who you are?
Oh boy. So I am Ken, a founder of Quester's Way, and attitude and mindset, huh? That's an interesting one. So I guess and I'm sure Vanessa is already looking it up, so we can get the definitions, which is always helpful. But I guess if I were to think about it, how it would be useful for me personally, mindset would be your view and your choice of response to situations that come and go. And whereas attitude would be the I guess almost like the emotional approach to your mindset. So, I'll give you like an example, like something, you get in an argument with someone and you could have the mindset of what's wrong with them, and why are they so stupid or obnoxious or this or that or so stubborn, whatever term you're going to use. And your attitude is one of, frustration and negativity, and, they kind of amplify each other. Or it could be, wow, we had an argument. What was that about? You could be looking in the mirror and saying, did I miss something here? Or could I have worked on my view? And your attitude could be, this relationship is important to me and I want to keep positivity, so I'm going to approach it from there. So it almost feels like the type of thing where you could have a complementary relationship or a disconnect, between those two things. But one feels like view and the way you perceive situations, and the other one is how you, emotionally respond to those situations.
Great.
That's the best I got to start off.
Sounds good. Vanessa, have you been flipping through the pages while we're talking here?
Of course I have.
All righty then.
So well. I was cracking up inside when Ken said that. Yeah. So I guess I'm Vanessa Wood, and I'm the podcast resident librarian. So I did go ahead and look it up. I put an attitude versus mindset. As nouns, the difference between mindset and attitude is that mindset is a way of thinking, and attitude or opinion, especially habitual one, while attitude is the position of the body or the way of carrying oneself. It's the posture. So, and as a verb, it's to assume or to the pose, which kind of goes along with posture as well. But so I guess I could go with that. I like Ken said about the attitude being the choice of response and the mindset being the emotional approach. I really think that attitude comes from your mindset. So I love that. If you, like they say, if you have a positive mindset, then you'll have a positive attitude, kind of a thing. And your mindset, is sort of your like your thermostat, if you will, as you go into a situation, and then you can decide your attitude, or maybe they could even go back and forth. But I think mindset is more. They're almost, when I first hear those two words, attitude and mindset, they almost kind of feel like they could be interchangeable. I know sometimes I say that with our words. I'm a lover of words anyway. As a freelance writer, words are my tools. But I think that I love, have you ever heard the expression, gratitude means great attitude? So again, going along with that positive mindset, and if you're looking for what you can appreciate about a certain situation, if you have a positive attitude that way, so is your mindset looking for what you can appreciate, or is your mindset looking for what you can complain about? So that's basically how I would define those two. And if anyone wants me to reread the definition that I found online.
Sure, just to kind of anchor us, for this part of the conversation, please do.
Yes, I found it on a site called Wikidiff, DIFF, maybe short for difference. So where you can, I guess, if you have two words you want to try and, like we're doing, try to define their similarities or compare and contrast the two words. I guess Wikidiff is .com is the way to go. So this says, as nouns for attitude and mindset, the difference between them is that mindset is a way of thinking. It's an attitude or opinion, especially a habitual one, while attitude is the position of the body or way of carrying oneself or your posture.
So that's really interesting. It's very interesting. And I think if you can expand what you're looking at, you're going to find that there are other definitions for attitude having to do with a way of thinking. But attitude is a very powerful term with regard to flight. Ken and I were just talking about skydiving before we started the recording. So attitude has everything to do with the position or direction of something. But I'm not quite sure that saying that it has something to do with the physical body takes into account all the possibilities for attitude. For instance, who would write a book about the power of a positive attitude if he was just talking about how you're carrying your body? Just for an example. Right.
Good point.
So that's really cool. Anything else? Any thoughts that you have with regard to that, Vanessa?
No, I said it all for now. Thanks.
Oh, awesome. Okay, Lisa?
Well, I love what Ken said, and then I was thinking positive attitude, which Vanessa brought up, because, but the thing that came to mind was that how changeable and malleable they both are, because you could work towards a positive mindset, and that doesn't necessarily mean that your attitude comes across that way. And I think work towards is a good way to look at it too, because you're always trying to improve your mindset so that your attitude is improved as well. I do agree with you, Bill, that attitude is not just your physical body. And you learn that growing up is like, from your parents, like, what's with this attitude, or a teacher that would say that to you. You need to change your attitude. So I think as grown-ups, we try to adjust our attitude to be quite not as reactive and to be responsive. So that changes your mindset as well. So I think it's constantly changing as you're, like we talked about, every whatever years our cells are just, completely replaced. So every minute that you learn something new or adopt something new, you can change your mindset even incrementally, and that will show up in your attitude eventually.
Yeah. And anything else?
Nope.
So Vanessa, can I give you a task? Can you look up roughly when the term mindset started popping up in popular, culture? Because here's what I think is kind of interesting. And I love coming up with this and then diving in both feet so that we can commit ourselves and then find out what it says that other people are thinking elsewhere. So the noun that I found for attitude is a settled way of thinking or feeling about someone or something, typically one that is reflected in a person's behavior. So that when people would talk about, that little note at the back of the report card, back in the third grade, speaks out of turn and demonstrates a poor attitude in terms of, social communication or whatever. For instance, Wayne Dyer, that was one of the comments that he got on his, that he was a disturbing element, but he didn't realize what that really meant because he was 6 years old. He thought he was a scurvy elephant, right? So
Scurvy elephant, yeah.
So the bottom line here is that what this is pointing to is these attitudes are positions that you take that become habit for you, known or unknown. So the neat part of it is an attitude is something that can be worked on and shifted, or a new attitude obtained clearly by your choice. Now here's the neat part. Vanessa, are you having any luck finding any information on the history of mindset?
I'm searching for it.
Okay, great. So try this on. The established set of attitudes held by someone. So this would be like the whole package. And not everybody has the same attitude about everything going on or automatic response to everything in their life. But the mindset would be, what is your thrownness and to your behavior to a certain set of stimuli? If something gets said or something happens or you see a picture that, what's your automatic, unthinking, unchallenged response to that? So that might point to where your mindset could use an upgrade with regard to the attitude that's supporting the mindset. So that all may turn out to be nonsense, what I just said. However, using inductive reasoning, the access to attitudes would be working, I think, more with where the malady is, if there is one, as opposed to the mindset. Trying to change a mindset at that level might be working with symptoms. It's the result of something, not the cause for something.
You've been listening to Lighting the Candle, A World That Works, part of the Exvadio Podcast Network. You can hear us at exvadio.com/podcasts, Apple Podcasts app, Google Play, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Stitcher, and wherever you find podcasts.